Yo, yo, boxing aficionados. What's up? What's going on? Hey, yo, check this out. Wow. What a nice weekend of boxing, man. Uh, and I'm not gonna act like I was on top of all of it, but um, man, the knockouts, that Friday night fight, the Munguia fight, which I gotta talk about that situation later on during the week. But just all the knockouts that happened from like Friday to today, the upsets. Friday night with that kid Alan Garcia getting knocked out on that top ranked card. Man, I actually, I was like, oh, but today, and I'm going to speak about a fight that I actually didn't get to see, man. Shout out to Daniel Dubois, man. Shout out to Daniel Dubois. I had to read the notes. I was at work when he was fighting and couldn't quite catch that fight. I also tuned into for the recap after a while. You know what? I'm going to get to the story later on. But when I'm looking, I get on Twitter, man, and I see on the feed Daniel Dubois knocks down AJ in the first round. I said, whoa. Now, I'm not going to front like I expected Daniel Dubois to win. Like I said, it wasn't a fight that I was too, committed to. Only because I just wasn't committed to that fight. But I like Daniel Dubois, man. I like Daniel Dubois. To me, he's like one of those prospects that I followed. You know, right from the onset. I saw him against the Gorman. What was it, Daniel Gorman? Whoever he fought, that was like his first big fight. I saw him because Daniel Dubois was one of the fighters that came along to the on the top ranked deal with Frank Warren. That's a deal that has bared a lot of fruit. That's a deal that has bared a lot of fruit. I remember when Top Rank signed Frank Warren, when Bob Arum signed Frank Warren. Basically, he threw Frank Warren a much-needed lifeline. You guys don't understand that 7 years ago, Frank Warren was getting his ass kicked in the UK. Frank Warren was getting his ass kicked in the UK. Eddie had taken over. He had AJ. He had Brooke. He had big fights in arenas and you know, the dashing good looks, looking like Errol Flynn, dashing and debonair. Eddie had taken over boxing in the UK. He had deals, kind of an agreement with the PBC in sending fighters back and forth. That's how he got the Brooke Porter fight made. You know. AJ was coming over to, you know, like he had really taken over UK boxing. And along comes this deal that was much maligned because, you know, people, you know, these boxing scribes and pundits. And when Frank Warren, when Bob Arum and Todd Dubois, in their infinite wisdom, decided to sign Frank Warren so they could televise Queensberry fights on the ESPN Plus feed. Everybody was like, oh, well, you know, Frank Warren ain't got nothing. But, you know, it was a deal that benefited both. I understood it right off the bat. Frank Warren's stable wasn't all that, but he had a lot more in the cupboard as far as the heavyweight division than Top Rank had. All Top Rank had at that time was Brandon Jennings, Bryant Jennings. That's all they had in the cupboard. Eddie, what's his name? The little Mexican kid had left to go with PBC. What's his name? The guy that ate himself out of 3 belts. Andy Ruiz, there it is. Man, that motherfucker ate himself out of 3 belts and big money, man. Wow, what a wasted career, man. Man. But that's neither here nor there. He left Top Rank, and all Top Rank had left was Bryant Jennings. So they signed they signed Frank Warren, and that deal has borne a lot of fruit, and what's his name? Daniel Dubois came along in that deal. At that time, he was the prospect that Frank Warren was really working with. He saw a lot of potential in him, and I saw him fight. He was an interesting kid, and he had the Gorman fight, which was, I thought it was just a much ballyhooed. I mean, who is Gorman? I mean, I didn't see much of Gorman doing it. Gorman reminded me of the Polish guy that got beat up. The PBC was trying to pass off as an elite. Oh my God, man! The BBC really tries to do that, man. That Polish guy, whatever. So that Gorman kid was kind of like along those same lines, man. Anyway, so he won that fight, and then Daniel Dubois was winning fights, and then he got stopped by Joe Joyce, and he quit. Took a knee. He had a broken socket. I was not critical of him stopping. I mean, your eyes, man. Your eyes are your eyes, and to endanger a vision in even one eye, man, is something. And he took that knee, came back. Frank Warren works with him and builds him up again and puts him in there against Joe Joyce. It was a fight that I think that Daniel Dubois was favored, and he really beat up Joe Joyce. But the Juggernaut was still the Juggernaut at that time, man. And he took the beating. He took a beating from Daniel Dubois, but he kept, man. He kept hammering that jab into his eye, into Joe Joyce's. Into Daniel Dubois' eye, and Daniel Dubois took that knee. Now he comes back from that, and it's been a long, long road since then. Then he got beat up by Alexander Usyk. So Frank Warren revived his career many times. Frank Warren revived Danny. Now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, man, Frank Warren revived this guy's career a lot. Against Joe Joyce, the loss against Joe Joyce, took a knee. The loss against Usyk, he ended up getting stopped. He was able to keep him in the mix, keep him on top of the rung, had to make deals with the devil, really, and Don King, to put him in a position to even get that Usyk fight. Loses the Usyk fight, comes back, puts him in there against what's his name? Big baby Miller. And man, that Turkey Al-Rashid, that whole Riyadh thing has been very good for Daniel Dubois' career, man. Very good for Daniel Dubois' career. Puts him in a position to fight AJ. 96,000 fans, bro. 96,000 fans. Nobody's giving Daniel Dubois a chance. Nobody gave Daniel Dubois. I didn't hear one person give Daniel Dubois a chance. Because AJ this and AJ that. And AJ himself has been revived and remade. And he doesn't seem like his star ever falls. Lost against Andy Ruiz. Comes back and outboxing. I was impressed with him outboxing Andy Ruiz. But he didn't stop Andy Ruiz. He didn't get his get back from Andy Ruiz. He got stopped by Andy Ruiz, and when he came back and beat him, he didn't get his get back. He was up boxing him, and I'm not gonna listen. I was impressed that he could change his style and be safe, but AJ wasn't the same after that. Then AJ, I picked the white kid that gave Fury trouble to have a really good chance of beating AJ. Didn't happen. AJ knocked that guy out. You thought that AJ was back. But once he did that with Andy Ruiz, I never thought that AJ was fully back. I didn't think AJ was fully back. Even with his wins against, the guy that gave Fury trouble. Or that this was a joke. That fight against what's his name, Ngannou. People gave him real credit for beating Ngannou, and I didn't get it. Like, I don't get it. I don't want to deviate from the point. The point is that AJ was back on top, despite his poor performances against Usyk. Despite getting knocked out by Ruiz, AJ's name was still on top. Certainly was in a better position than Wilder, right? Which was his nemesis, his mirror. That's AJ's nemesis, and will always be is Wilder. And it's a shame that they never get it. It would be great to see them getting in the ring now, just to see what happens. I think it would make money just to see what happens. But Daniel Dubois gets to fight AJ. 96,000 fans in his backyard. Match room. Queensbury. Daniel Dubois. He really has remade his career. After beating Trevor, the Don King fighter, losing to Usyk, and I thought that that punch that he hit Usyk with was clean. I think Usyk should have been counted a knockdown, man. I think Usyk would have gotten up and maybe beat him anyway, but it was disheartening to have that not count, and it fucked with Daniel Dubois' psyche. But he trudged along, came back, put himself in position. Frank Warren has done a yeoman's career. I mean, a yeoman's effort, job of building this guy and working with him despite any losses and despite his flaws. Working with him and put him into this position, man. It was great. It was great to know, I ain't gonna say see, saw a little bit of YouTube clips. But when I saw on that Twitter feed that first round, Dubois knocks down AJ, I was like, that's it. AJ ain't built like that. Yeah, he got up against Klitschko, but AJ ain't built like that. His ego, his psyche is fragile, man. His psyche is fragile, man. He's got heart problems, and I don't mean the cardiac kind. He's got a lack. You could snatch that man's soul, man. AJ has serious lack of dog, man. AJ ain't built like that, man. AJ is not built like that. He's not Fury. Fury, you could not. He's gonna get back up. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna, he's showing you he could do that. Yes, he's been knocked down in his career a whole bunch of times, but he gets up, usually wins. And to tell you the truth, I still would have given him the fight over Usyk. He won about 8 rounds. He outboxed Usyk thoroughly. Lapse of judgment, gets knocked down by Usyk, and I believe that the whole Ukrainian thing that the world's going through and supporting Ukraine and played a big part in the judges giving that fight to Usyk, man. It's ridiculous. Well, it wasn't ridiculous, but the worst it could have been for Fury was a draw. The worst it could have been for Fury was a draw, man. Usyk, in my opinion, needed a knockout to win that fight. But he gets the knockdown, and they give him the fight. But that's neither here nor there. Daniel Dubois throws a wrench in a lot of plans, man. And if you ain't counting, this is 7 fights in which the Queensberry fighter has beaten a Matchroom fighter. I think Matchroom is European PBC. Matchroom is pure European PBC, and Queensberry is European Top Rank. The best fighters, the guys with the most metal, the sharpened iron products of their stable, the upper echelon in boxing in Europe is Frank Warren's Queensberry promotion. It ain't even fucking close. You can't argue it. When they did the 5-on-5, he blanked Eddie Hearn. Now you put your man, who's not even your main man. Your main man's Tyson Fury. You put not an also ran, but some guy that he's not your main man. And you put him against AJ, who is Matchroom's main man. And Daniel Dubois destroys him like that. Matchroom is European PBC. Bottom line. Matchroom is European PBC. That's what it is. A lot of fluff and mirrors and smoke and mirrors around their fighters, bro. Them dudes, none of them is good. Anthony Kakachi beat Josh Warrington. Now he keeps his IBF 130-pound belt, which wasn't at the line. But at least he's still champion now. We can make some fights with Anthony Kakachi. And hopefully, we find some way to put Anthony Kakachi against Navarrete. I want to see that. But I don't want to deviate from the point. Shout out to Daniel Dubois, man. Just knowing that he won and this fight is great. And as soon as I found out that when he stopped the AJ, I decided to check in on my man Ring IQ, my brother Ring IQ. He took it the wrong way. There's so much. It's like boxing fans don't know how to have fun, man. Basketball fans, you're a Net fan, he's a Knick fan, you needle each other, and you laugh about things, and we wax your ass and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how basketball fans, Yankees fans against Mets, or Boston, like, you needle each other, bro. But boxing fans, bro, you can't joke. They take it the wrong way, man. Everything's like so crazy, man. Anyway, but I did tune in because I was gonna check in on Julius. I'm checking on Julius because I know he's calling the fight, and I want to react to No, I want to see how he reacts to his calling. And yo, Denial is a motherfucker, man. Denial is a motherfucker. I didn't see the fight, but I'm hearing him call it. He sees the first knockdown. Second round, he's like, oh yeah, AJ's got his legs back. AJ's got his back. Yo, jabbing me, holding me. I just got it. And Daniel Dubois was having none of it. Daniel Dubois, no way he was going to get denied, man. He took, from what I see, from what I read, Daniel Dubois took AJ's heart. Daniel Dubois took AJ's heart. I'm telling you. AJ's got cardiac problems. He needs a heart transplant, bro. AJ's got cardiac problems. He needs a heart transplant, bro. Bottom line. And Daniel Dubois, who's been in the trenches and has those losses against Joe Joyce and got denied against Usyk, and he has those experiences to draw upon, proved his mettle, man. He proved his mettle. Is he the face of UK boxing now? 96,000 fans. And UK fans, man, hey, listen, they love boxing. Man, they were fans of Frank Bruno. I always call AJ Frank Bruno. And they're big Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno still's loved in the UK. Right? And that guy was definitely not elite. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. If he is. I don't think he is. So I know that in the UK, in that kind of scenario, yes, you can inherit the other person's fans. I think that UK boxing has another face now. It ain't AJ's no more. And I'm hearing that there's a rematch clause. I'm hearing that there's a rematch clause. Bro, hey, that's the end of Anthony Joshua's career. I wouldn't take that fight if I were him. I would rebuild and don't take the rematch. Try to make a wilder fight and then do something, but don't stay away from that. Because Daniel Dubois, unless he lets the wind get to his head and loses focus on his training and does an Andy Ruiz type loss of discipline, he's going to beat Anthony Joshua again. Because Anthony Joshua, he ain't going to be able to outbox Daniel Dubois with movement. He ain't got that. He's too slow for Daniel Dubois. Anyway, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. I just want to spread some joy, some love. And that's it, man. Just have some fun, man. Boxing aficionados. I hope you guys enjoy weekends like this. And, stop crying about fights that you ain't getting. It's Turkey Al-Ashi, man. Oh, my God. He's really been a savior to boxing. And you guys should really be joyful and appreciative and grateful of the boxing that we're getting. This is a great weekend, man. I'm going to enjoy watching Top Rank's fights on Replay on the Plus. And I'm going to find the Riyadh season for this weekend and watch that too, man. And it's going to be great, man. Anyway, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. This is Next Level Boxing. So, peace. I'm out.